morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change. Joined again this Tuesday by Duane Long from Columbus, Ohio. Duane, how are you this fine morning?
Oh, enjoying a beautiful fall morning. It's football season. World's a good place.
A little bit crisp here in the Gem City as well, a little bit in the 50s. We are going to talk Buckeyes for a few minutes here. Obviously, there's some major topics we can get into, so we're not going to beat around the bush. We're just going to get rolling. Very interesting discussion yesterday at the press conference Urban Meyer had, spurred on by our own Dave Biddle's questions. And it's more about the coaching. Obviously, we're going to talk about the offense. We'll get to the defense. That'll be in the positive second half of the segment today. But the offense, there seems to be some consternation for Herb about the coaching staff, because if you watched the press conference yesterday, he said the issues are coaching. That led everyone to believe it's the new offensive coordinating setup. You've got Ed Warner, Tim Beck. What's your general vision so far, Duane, or impression of the coaching situation on the offensive side, and maybe what needs to be tweaked?
Well, it's obviously where the problem is. You know, you say, what is different from the end of last year? Well, we're talking about 8 returning starters, off a team that just ran through 59-0 and blow Alabama out and then come back and handle Oregon easily. Well, what happened? Well, we lost offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. He's now at another school. That's the difference. I don't think that offensive line coaching and being an offensive coordinator go hand in hand like quarterback coaching and being an offensive coordinator. You can still coach that quarterback, and at the same time you can game plan. Coaching the offensive line, those are two different things, and game planning, those are two different things. So I think it's taken some transition time. Not that I don't think they can do it. I don't know if they're on the same page yet. It really matters. These little details can be the difference, and I think that they just have not found their mojo yet. They have not kicked into a rhythm. I don't know how much involvement Beck has with the game plan. Maybe you need them to have more. Maybe you need them to have less. I don't know. Right now, what they're doing is not working. This team just looks bewildered. It looks like it's the first time that they've stepped on the field together and they don't have their signals right. Nobody knows where anybody's supposed to be. You don't know what the play is. You don't know what your go-to is either. We're not seeing anything that we can hang our hat on out of this football team on offense. You look at we should be seeing Zeke 20 times a game. I don't care what. We should be running it up inside. We should be chucking it down the field. We're not doing any of that. We're just, I don't know what it is we're doing. I could not really describe you. I know something about football, and I could not really tell you what our agenda is on offense. It looks like we don't have one.
Yeah, it does seem, one of the reasons it's been tough for me to kind of figure it out is because I never for 1 second assumed or thought the offensive line would struggle. So I hadn't even considered that. So now to go back and deal with that, you're having to open up, now you're saying, well, maybe I got to reconsider everything because they just don't look fluid. I think the word you brought up is the key word here, which is rhythm. I don't remember when it was last year. For some reason in my mind, it feels like the Cincinnati game. They just caught their rhythm. And like a great team, every game seemed to follow kind of a similar script. That was exaggerated in the last 2 games when they got 42 points both games. But it just they don't have a rhythm. And to me, that usually comes down to play calling. Play calling is an art. It's a vibe. It's you're setting things up. I've never understood when they had, some NFL teams have got different guys call run plays and pass plays. That's never made any sense to me. There's been some talk, and Dave has done a good job trying to get this information, and for some reason it's been, either misreported or put out there differently, that Tim Beck is in the booth and Warner's on the sideline. Do you put any credence in the fact that the play caller needs to be upstairs like Tom Herman was?
I think it's just what they're used to. I like as many coaches on the side. You want to have some observers up there in the booth. Okay, you want to have some assistants up there, but I like having as many coaches on the sidelines as possible. I want them communicating with their guys. I want them looking them right in the eye and talking to them and interacting with them. So I'm all for putting as many guys down there on the field as possible. Whatever they're doing is not working, whether it's through the week in preparation, or whether it's just that there's something not connecting in where they're at. I just don't think that would. I'd want them all on the field. Let's just say that. I like them down there. It depends on where's he comfortable. Where's he most comfortable? Where's the team? The team is used to a guy, the quarterback coach being in the booth, and you communicate with him through headsets. Okay, let's do that then. Whatever it is, let's try to get back into the groove. Let's find our rhythm. Let's get back. Let's find our mojo. And right now, we need to do something, because the defense is carrying us, and that's all there is to it. We can't do this. We cannot have this offense against Michigan State. We saw what kind of defense they had. They're big up front, and we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems with this until we get back to finding our groove. We blocked Michigan State. We blocked Alabama last year. We can block them. We just got to figure out how to do that again.
Yeah, I would agree. Before we move on to the positives, because there are plenty. Let's not get completely off base here. Do you feel like, and I have to admit, I felt like it would be I thought they'd catch their rhythm this past weekend. Do you think the offensive woes will end versus visiting Western Michigan this weekend?
I have no reason to be either optimistic or pessimistic. I don't know. I think they can. They have. There's no reason for us to think that we cannot get it back. That's ridiculous to think that, you know, we had our run and it's over. With all these players back, older, stronger, more mature, and we can't get it back. Yeah, we can, but we have not done it, so I can't say, I think we're going to against Western Michigan. I don't think we have enough information to make a judgment one way or the other. We don't know what this team's going to do right now on offense. We got to get better. We got to get better. Offensive line has got to be more consistent. Right down the middle, we're not scaring anybody. These guys were rolling last year, rolling straight over top of Alabama's big. That's one thing Nick Saban likes to do. Front seven, big guys. And this line, not the biggest line you're ever going to see, especially in the middle, just rolled over top of them. Now we can't all of a sudden. I don't know if the amount of attention that the distraction, let's call it, of preparing for the game plan, putting so much time into that, is impacting Warner on the practice field. It could be. How can he just got his job doubled. So maybe he's not found his rhythm. I don't know what that is up front. We know that Elflein is Elflein. He has been consistently outstanding ever since he stepped into the starting lineup. Bourne is not playing well, and Price is really not playing well. Neither one of them can say they're having a good season so far. So we got to get that figured out. That probably is where it really starts, is getting the offensive line settled. You know, do this. Let Warner spend as much time as he feels he needs with the offensive line, and Beck pick up the slack with the play calling. And, you know, then they have a meeting later and try to come up with some kind of a plan together. I don't know. We got to figure something out here.
No question. And we're going to move on and talk about the defense, but we'd be remiss if we didn't at least give credit to one Buckeye who has played excellent, and I think they need to get the ball to more, and that is Michael Thomas. I don't think he's proven there's not a cornerback in college football that can handle him one-on-one. That needs to be, let's ride that a little bit. I'm not saying they got to go Amari Cooper of last year, where Cooper had, 90-plus receptions, and no one else on the team had 20. But while we're getting settled, I'd like to see them work Mike Thomas a little bit more. Okay, let's move on to the defense and what has been, good gracious, really tremendous. If someone said to you right now, team MVP thus far, who's your answer?
Adolphus Washington. I would absolutely say Adolphus Washington. He is a guy that is just taking it to another level, and I have been really tough on Shutt, and I'm telling you, the guy's been solid. That's all Adolphus needed. Make sure that I've got lanes. Give me a little bit of room. Tie somebody up and let me move, and I will make stuff happen, and that's exactly what he's done. So let's give him credit for it. Adolphus Washington, Darren Lee has been outstanding. So has Josh Perry. We're really solid in the middle with McMillan. This defense, it's really hard to find a guy that you're saying maybe we should look at some other personnel. It's been just top drawer. And even when Joey Bosa, probably the best defensive player in football, was not in there, the defensive ends, we didn't see any drop off. These guys were deep. We got guys that when we rotate fresh players in, it's just a killer for the offense. That we're not seeing a drop off in talent when we rotate other players in. So I would say Adolphus Washington, right in the middle of the line. He's made so much happen. He's penetrating. He's just been outstanding. But you could look at any number of guys. You could look at Garyon Conley is playing outstanding football out at the corner. But Josh Perry's been outstanding. McMillan. We're back to seeing linebackers like we saw with Jim Tressel.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly on Adolphus Washington. Mr. Dave Biddle will back me up on this. I said before the season I thought Washington was our most indispensable player. I'm not sure he's the best player on the team, but given his position, and I always love to see a guy who can smell the NFL. And you can tell if you watch Scarlet and Gray Days, he's got a young daughter. He is all business. He looks a tad leaner than he used to. My one concern about Washington in the past was he didn't play enough snaps for me. He has obviously kicked up his endurance, and he's maintaining a high level of play, playing a tremendous number of snaps. I'm really starting to believe he's going to be a top 20 draft pick. And those preseason NFL predictions that we had, a lot of them didn't even have Adolphus in the first round. I could see him being one of the first guys picked now. He's been that good. Where does this defense rank now to you in terms of overall talent and what you've seen over the years? Because like you were talking about, I was thinking, it's really hard to find a weakness. I guess, last year we used to complain about Tyvis Powell at times. He's remarkably solid to me this year. So where's the weakness? Where would you put them in context with what you've seen thus far? Obviously, we're not too far into the season, but it's the BM5 and it's Bucknuts, so we can speculate.
Well, the one area I'd like to see more pass rush. We're getting good pressure, but we're not getting to the quarterback as much as I would like to. I want the quarterback unhappy all the time. I want the quarterback thinking, I want this stuff over. I want to get away from these people. I'm tired of large people landing on me after every time I throw the ball. I want out of here, and that's the one thing I'm not seeing yet. The ends have been really good. They've been so solid, especially against the run. But I want to see these guys really pin their ears back and go and put some pressure on the quarterback.
I do too. I think there's no question Hawaii was using a quick strike, get it out of Max Whittick's hand so he can be our quarterback for the rest of the season approach. But definitely agree, and this is something we will keep an eye on this week. Western Michigan is up. We will have complete coverage leading up to the game, and as Duane said, we really don't know what's going to happen. So it's already been a fun and interesting ride. We'll keep it up. Have a great Tuesday, Bucknutters.